everything happens in time. You know, there's a time for everything. There's a time to be in a group, and there's a time to be solo. At least there was for me.
Not every rapper who hits big time lives like a superstar. Some keep it real after growing up poor. Some went broke and had to rebuild their lives. Others make millions, but still drive regular cars, live in modest homes, and skip the flashy lifestyle. Can you guess who's on this list? Stick around, we're about to reveal 20 famous rappers who live like they're broke, and some of the names will surprise you. Number 20. 50 Cent. 50 Cent's story is really about bouncing back. He made a lot of money early in his career, but he also went through serious financial problems that could have ended everything. Instead of giving up, he rebuilt himself from the ground up. He started paying attention to every dollar, making smarter choices, and learning from his mistakes. Over the years, he's talked a lot about staying disciplined with money, avoiding wasting cash, and focusing on long-term goals instead of quick splurges. Some people think that makes him stingy, but others see it as being smart, especially when he has once experienced the struggle of losing everything. Next on the list is a rapper who understood the value of every penny right from his early years. Number 19. Tupac Shakur. Tupac grew up in extreme hardship, not that fake struggle story people like to sell. He lived through actual poverty, violence, and had a messy home life. And he didn't run from any of it. He took everything he went through and put it straight into his music. That's why people connected with him so much. He talked about police messing with him, being broke, trying to survive. All the stuff most rappers who still live like they're poor actually understand. And he wasn't afraid to be real or show emotion, which made his words hit even harder. By the time he blew up in the 90s, he still carried that same raw energy. Like he never forgot where he came from. He died young, just 25, but his influence never faded.
Rap star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25.
Rappers today still move the way they do because Tupac showed them how to turn pain into purpose. Next up, we have a rapper with a similar upbringing, but a more challenging reality. Number 18. Eminem. Eminem didn't come from anything easy either. He grew up broke, with a lot of chaos around him. Rap was basically his outlet, the one place he could dump everything he was feeling and actually make sense of it. When he first came out, people were shocked because he didn't sugarcoat anything. His music was wild, and that's exactly why it blew up so fast. He talked about things most people were scared to admit. And even with all the controversy, he kept pushing for perfection in his craft, and that dedication paid off. Because he didn't just become a successful rapper, he became one of the biggest to ever do it. 2 decades later, he's still in the conversation, still influencing the game, and still proving that coming from nothing doesn't mean you stay there. Let's move on to the next legendary rapper on the list. Number 17. Jay-Z. Jay-Z's story really started in the struggle. He grew up in tough projects, broke, and surrounded by stuff most people only hear about. To survive, he got into drug dealing because that was the only real option around him at the time. But even in all that chaos, he had this crazy talent for rapping. He started buzzing in the underground scene, and people connected with him because he rapped about real poverty and the violence he actually lived through, not something made up. Over time, he used his voice to talk about bigger things too, like justice and change. And what makes his story even wilder is how he flipped his whole life. Instead of blowing money to show off, he made smart moves. Businesses, real estate, tech, spirits. Now he's a billionaire who built generational wealth from nothing, and the whole industry respects him for it. The individual on the list is another black rapper who also had it rough. Number 16. Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar grew up in Compton, a place where life was tough. Money was usually tight, and violence was normal. But instead of getting pulled into all that, he used rap to talk about what he saw around him. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and that's why so many people feel his words. Over time, he became one of the most respected artists in the world, winning big awards and making music that actually means something. Kendrick is someone who speaks up for his people and shows what it looks like to rise above the struggle. Up next is someone who's made waves in rap and film, yet is super down-to-earth. Number 15. Ice Cube. Ice Cube didn't just stick to rapping. After making a name in music, he moved into movies. acting, writing, and producing. He starred in Boys in the Hood and started his own production company, Cube Vision.
We got a problem here? We got a problem, nigga?
Oh, what up with this?
Gun away, nigga.
What sets him apart is how smart he is with money. He didn't just spend it. He invested in clothing, started the Big Three basketball league, and put money into real estate. Some people might call him stingy, but really, he's careful and disciplined. He knows how to make his money last and grow, fully understanding how the world is unfair to poor people. Ever wondered what it feels like to bring so many talents to the limelight and still stay humble? Here is a perfect example. Number 14. Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre turned his success into a full-on business with humility and diligence. In 2006, he co-founded Beats by Dre, and it completely changed the game. Those headphones became huge, taking over the high-end audio world. Then, in 2014, Apple bought Beats for around $3 billion. Since Dre owned about a quarter of the company, he walked away with hundreds of millions. One of the biggest paydays ever for a musician. But that money didn't make him careless. It showed he had vision. He knew how to turn his music fame into real, lasting wealth. Dre proves that being smart with your moves and thinking long-term can build something strong, not just flashy, and that talent plus good business sense can make success last a lifetime. The next rapper has every reason to show off, but remains humble. Number 13. Nas. Nas is smart with his money and his moves. He is a legendary rapper, but doesn't show off like some of his peers. He focuses on his music and building businesses that last. He co-founded Queensbridge Venture Partners. Through it, he invested in Lyft, Dropbox, and Ring. Those moves brought him serious returns. He also co-owns Mass Appeal, a media company, runs a sneaker store, and helped start a few restaurants. Nas keeps his life grounded in what matters. Next up, we have another grounder rapper who isn't after the flashy life either. Number 12. Method Man. Method Man is smart about his life and his money decisions. He's a key member of the Wu-Tang Clan, but he doesn't chase the spotlight. When he's not working, he keeps things low-key. He doesn't flaunt money or live a flashy life like some other hip-hop legends. He focuses on his craft, whether it's music, acting, or business ventures. Method Man is extremely careful about what he shows the world. He invests time in projects that matter and keeps his personal life private. That doesn't mean he's not successful. He's built a career that spans decades and stays respected in the industry. People notice him not just for his talent, but for how grounded he stays. Next up on our list is a rapper who got burned by fame so badly, it made him question his life choices. Number 11. MC Hammer. He made it big fast, had huge hits, and was everywhere in the late 80s and early 90s. He lived a flashy life, with big houses, fancy cars, and a huge entourage. But all that spending caught up with him. In the mid-90s, he filed for bankruptcy. It was a tough lesson, but he bounced back. After that, he started living smarter. Let's move on to the next individual, the same way MC Hammer moved on from his flashy lifestyle. Number 10. Skyzoo. Skyzoo is known for keeping things low-key, and some people call him stingy because of it. He doesn't flash cash, expensive cars, or jewelry like many rappers do. He focuses on his music and building a long-lasting career instead of showing off. He spends carefully and invests in projects that matter, not in flashy stuff just to impress. That can make him seem tight with money, but really, he's smart. He knows how to make his earnings count and grow over time. Next up, we have an artist who couldn't handle the pressure and responsibility of being in the spotlight. Number 9. DMX. DMX reached massive fame with hit albums and movies, but his life was never simple. By 2013, he filed for bankruptcy, listing only about $50,000 in assets while owing between $1 million and $10 million in debts. Most of that came from unpaid taxes, child support payments for multiple children, legal fines, and expenses from a fast lifestyle without careful money management. Between 2010 and 2015, he earned millions, but he often handled money in cash and failed to report it, which eventually led to tax problems. In 2017, he was convicted of tax evasion, adding even more penalties and legal fees to the mix. On top of that, DMX struggled with drug addiction, substance abuse, and constant legal troubles. Being arrested, court cases, and rehab visits drained him further. By the time he passed in 2021,
Now, American rapper and actor DMX, or Dark Man X, has died at age 50.
his net worth was estimated at -$1 million. Even with his huge success, his choices and struggles left him with almost nothing, showing just how unpredictable fame and fortune can be. Next up, we have J. Cole. Number 8. J. Cole. J. Cole wasn't born into money. He was born on a U.S. Army base in Germany. His father left when he was a baby. His mom, working as a postal worker, moved with him and his brother to Fayetteville, North Carolina. When they first moved, they lived in a trailer park. J. Cole has called that one of the scariest times because his mom struggled to make ends meet. As he grew, life stayed rough. His mom later battled addiction after a troubled marriage. Through those times, J. Cole held down selling ads and working odd jobs while chasing music and school. He later earned a scholarship to college and graduated magna cum laude. His humble, sometimes tough upbringing shaped the real, honest stories in his music. Moving on to the next name on this list, we have number 7, Common. Common grew up in Chicago, and his childhood wasn't easy. His parents split when he was 6, and his dad wasn't around much after that. He was raised mostly by his mom, who worked hard to keep things together, running daycare centers and later becoming a teacher and principal. Even with her efforts, money was tight, and life in his neighborhood wasn't simple. Violence, gangs, and poverty were part of the everyday backdrop. Growing up there meant seeing people around him struggle, fall into trouble, or get caught in cycles they couldn't escape. That world shaped Common. He learned early what it meant to fight for what you want, to stay grounded, and to focus on your craft instead of flashy distractions. Music became his way out, a way to tell stories from the streets while keeping his own life on track. Even after becoming successful, he stayed humble and conscious, using his platform to inspire and uplift. Number 6. Rakim. Rakim grew up in Wyandanch, a quiet Long Island neighborhood where life wasn't flashy and money was tight. From an early age, he found music as his escape. He played saxophone in his high school band and started writing rhymes as a teenager, shaping his talent quietly, away from the spotlight. When he teamed up with Eric B., their early recordings were made in modest home studios, a far cry from the glitz and glamour that would later define hip-hop for many. Even as Rakim rose to legendary status, transforming rap with his groundbreaking flow and intricate lyricism, he never felt the need to showcase wealth. He avoided the flashy lifestyle, focusing instead on honing his craft and building respect in the music world. His choices showed that real power in hip-hop came from skill, creativity, and influence, not from cars, jewelry, or ostentatious spending. Next on the list, we have another black artist who grew up in hardship but transformed his life totally. Number 5. Black Thought. Black Thought didn't grow up with comfort. He lost his father when he was just a year old and later lost his mother while in high school. Before fame, he spent time tagging graffiti around his city and even sold crack cocaine for a short while, which shows life was hard and unstable. He turned to music to get out. As a teenager, he teamed up with Questlove, and together they started performing on the streets of Philadelphia. Over time, they formed The Roots, a band that used live instruments and honest lyrics instead of flashy hype. Despite growing success, Black Thought stayed true to himself. He didn't chase the flashy lifestyle many rappers go for. Instead, he kept the focus on his craft. Let's move on to the next rapper on the list, the famous lead MC of the Furious Five. Number 4. Melle Mel. Melle Mel was one of the first real voices of hip-hop. As the lead MC of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, he gave the world hits like The Message. But the money from those early days didn't lead to long-term wealth.
And I had the dream that when I came into Roxy and I seen him posing, but the song was playing in the dream.
Early rap pioneers like Melle Mel signed contracts that paid very little, especially in royalties. Many early legends never got paid fairly, even after huge songs and tour success. Melle Mel has spoken about getting small advances, but royalty time often meant owing money instead of getting real payouts. That's why Compared to many modern rappers living flashy lives, Melle Mel's life now seems modest. Even without wealth, his influence is massive, and he remains one of hip-hop's most important voices, showing that impact doesn't always come with big checks. We have another rapper who went all out, came crashing down in the blink of an eye, and never recovered. This individual is the next on this list. Number 3. Young Buck.
I grew up right across the street, boy. I lost my best friend, one of my best friends. You know what I mean? Fernando.
Young Buck once rode high, signed to 50 Cent's group and rap label, and he enjoyed fame, money, and success. But over time, things went south. In 2010, after an IRS raid and mounting tax problems, he filed for bankruptcy. By 2020, he had to declare bankruptcy again. He lost most of his assets. Cars, jewelry, studio gear, and even parts of his music catalog were sold off to pay debts. Reports from 2025 describe him as 100% broke. He reportedly has no savings or stable income and sometimes relies on others for basic needs. Back in the day, Buck spent big, houses, luxuries, supporting friends and family. But when the cash stopped and debts piled up, those choices caught up with him. Now, with royalties gone and earnings low, this once famous rapper is a strong example of how fast things can crumble, especially in hip-hop when money flows hard and taxes, debt, or legal disputes aren't handled right. Let's move on to a female rapper who also had it rough like Young Buck and also never bounced back. Number 2. Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill shot to fame with the Fugees and then changed the game with her solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. She earned big money from record sales and royalties, but from 2005 to 2007, she didn't pay taxes on about $1.8 million she earned. Instead, she said at the time she pulled back from the spotlight to protect herself and her family, describing the music industry's pressures and saying she needed space. When she went to court, Lauryn said she struggled with big financial and personal debts. She eventually paid nearly $970,000 in back taxes and penalties, but by then her savings, income flow, and public standing took a hit. Because of that, many people see her life as more modest now. Now to the last name on our list. This rapper didn't necessarily have a rough childhood. He simply understood how fleeting money could be. Number 1. Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper grew up in Chicago's South Side, in a middle-class neighborhood called West Chatham.
Industry is something that's very separate from music, and so by always staying on the music side of it, I found success.
Even though his parents worked, his dad in city politics and his mom in public service, he saw how fragile money and stability could be. He started making music young, recording his first mixtape during a school suspension. When he rose to fame, Chance chose to stay independent instead of signing with a major label. He stayed grounded and close to his roots. Chance invests in his community, supporting local schools and programs, instead of spending on flashy cars or jewelry. Because he doesn't live a flashy lifestyle. Some people say he lives poor, but it's not about lacking money. He's just careful, focused, and intentional with his life. He values music, community, and real impact over appearances, proving that being grounded and independent can be just as powerful as wealth or fame. Whose name were you shocked to find in this list? And whose name do you think is missing as well? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.